Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, April 3rd. It is just about 8:40 a.m. Sorry for the late start. Let's see if we can get through. Definitely, I'll do crude. I don't know if we'll get to oil before the crude open or not. So let's go over to today's news. And looks like quite the slate here. All right. So we have PMI at 945, PMI at 10, construction spending, manufacturing prices, Fed members speaking. So it looks like we have a little bit of a busy day this morning. So not going to be surprised to see some choppiness early, at least until this 9:30. Sorry, this 9:45. More likely this 10 o'clock. So just got to keep that in mind while we're watching the charts this morning. Let's get our levels adjusted. Value area high. Well, that actually seems to be in the right place there. Hey, VPOC. Value area low from Friday. Okay. Overnight high. Overnight low. And overnight VPOC. Let's take a look at what's happened overnight. Here's our close. We are predominantly net long. Most of our trading happened above yesterday's close. Looks like we took a run at the high of Friday, broke it, but then came right back down. So let's see what our hourly chart looks like. See if there are any levels that we breached on Friday that need to come off of the chart. Okay, so we came through the high from the day before, but from below, I'd like to see another candle here come back below. So we're going to leave this on. We ultimately traded all the way up to this previous swing, which is marking off high from, I think it's actually off a little bit. No, it's pretty good. Which is marking off the high from Friday. So those are both on there. Let's just see where we're trading now. Let me adjust the high from Friday to be right on. Okay. And we are currently trading at 50.69. Let's give ourselves some room on both sides. That's pretty good. So 50.69. Okay. Give ourselves a mark here. Nice. So what do we see here right off the bat? We see we came and we tested. Here's overnight high up here. We pushed further into this void here. Now, you remember we've been having some trouble with NinjaTrader. So man, I'm hoping this void is a void, not just levels that we've lost. Yeah, there's no way this whole thing should be empty here, but that kind of puts me in a bind. I guess I shouldn't say that. Definitely going to put this high in there. Nope. No. Okay, so that's that void is fairly valid as a void. All right, let's go back up to the front now and get back to it. 50, 65. Okay. So first hypo is going to be open, test of overnight high, hold, pull back, and then give us a break of overnight high, getting us into these former microcomposite VPOCs here above us. Maybe see some resistance there, but it looks like we're going to try, if in this scenario, we'd be looking to get towards this swing, possibly die out here at this low volume node, but ultimately we're going to call this hypo 1. Hypo 2 is going to be a push towards overnight high, fail, come through, come back into yesterday's value area high, maybe retest overnight VPOC, then have this whole value area high break, get into yesterday's value, make our way down towards VPOC and value area low. This is going to be hypo 2. Hypo 3 is an open push down, come test yesterday's value area high, have this hold, and then use that as our springboard, getting us back into hypo 1 as we described before. That's going to be 3, and we're going to do one more, and that is a push down, hold value area high, retest overnight VPOC, maybe even overnight high, fail, and then get back down and send us into hypo 2, but that's going to be hypo 4. And basically all we're showing is that it's a move down first before ultimately a move down, test higher, and then ultimately pushing down into yesterday's value area. Okay, that's everything we have for oil. Let's get this lined up here. And let's get our levels moved over in the S&P and see what we can do. Value area low, VPOC, value area high, overnight high, overnight low. Okay. And overnight VPOC. Oopsie. Move the wrong line. I'll have to find where that is on the other chart and put that back properly. No problem. All right, close this. Bring in the hourly chart. Let's see which line here I moved and where it most likely belonged. Okay, so first things first, did we breach any levels on Friday that need to come off the chart? And well, we have bigger problems. This chart is not showing us all the way till today. No, it is. I'm sorry. It is. It won't show. Okay, never mind. All good. All good. Did we breach any levels on Friday? No. So, but we do need to add Friday's low in here, and I saw that Friday's high bumped up right against a previous high, so that's already on the chart. We have a triple top up here that has formed at the 66.75 area. let's take a look at what we have around us. So we're starting to balance here. And we have this microcomposite above us and this microcomposite below us, and we're trading in this microcomposite. So balance, balance, balance. So the question is, which side are we going to head towards? And we're going to plan for moves in either direction. And let's just see here. So we have a microcomposite VPOC down here. That's good. We can use that. All right, let's see where we're currently trading. 60, 2360. And I have 25 points above, 25 points below. That should be plenty. So we are right at overnight VPOC to start. I'm expecting some chop here with a move up towards overnight high. See if this can hold, come back towards VPOC for support, and then ultimately break out of Friday's value area, heading towards Friday's high. I believe if we can break this, we're going to get out above this microcomposite VPOC and make our way out towards this microcomposite VPOC. So that's going to be hypo 1. Hypo 2 is going to be some chop, push towards overnight high, come towards Friday's high, microcomposite VPOC, fail, maybe see overnight high hold one more time, and then ultimately get back below and trade down towards overnight low. That's going to be hypo 2. Now this particular hypo, it would be very reasonable to see that ultimately come down towards. In fact, I'm going to extend this down towards the low here. It gets us to this low volume node. It gets us to this previous swing. So we're going to add that into this hypo. Excuse me. Now that's not to say that this can't continue to go down, but this is where we're currently stopping our hypothesis. Certainly can go further down than that, and we will have a hypothesis that covers that right now. So here we're going to have an open. We're going to look at this one more as a open start down, chop here, fail at overnight high on a retest, get through this microcomposite VPOC, come test overnight low, fail at one of these levels here again, ultimately get below this previous swing, fail, and then I would expect this move to microcomposite VPOC to happen fairly quick. You'll notice we have some low volume area here. This is going to be hypo 4. No, sorry, hypo 3. And that is that. How'd I do? Okay, great. You know, early on in the videos, I used to spend a lot of time talking about terminology and things like that, and it helps me a lot to not have to do that and just get into these hypotheses and seeing what's on the chart, and that definitely saves a lot of time. So let's take a look. Let me just make sure I have this set properly. Okay, let's take a look at what's happening here in oil right before the open. So we tested overnight VPOC, just looks like a couple minutes ago. Definitely a range here, no trend overnight. A little bit more long-term view of this. We are in an uptrend. So this is consolidation at the upper area of this uptrend. So what we'd be looking for is either a continuation through and heading up, as we saw on one of our hypos, or failure towards one of the highs up here or close to a high up here, with some other indications that we might see a reversal pattern. And we have about 4 minutes to the open. We're going to be scaling in. We're going to be scaling into trades today. I am continuing to work on my aggression, to work on my this is going to sound crazy, on both my aggression and patience, meaning patience in the sense that I want to be sure that the trades I get into have the proper risk versus reward, and aggression as once I spot one of those trades, once I spot a potential setup, that I react to it quickly. We've done a fairly good job, with the exception of one day recently. We've done a fairly good job of being able to spot these setups, being able to understand where price looks like it's going, where price looks like it may turn. But I haven't done the best job of being into those trades appropriately. So I also had I think only one day last week where I managed my trades very, very poorly. Kept moving my stops to inappropriate levels. And they're not inappropriate because I get stopped out and the price then goes in my favor. They're inappropriate because of where they were. And I'll, as stuff like that comes up, I'll do my best to show you where we're putting our stops, why it's a good reason to put the stops there versus where we're not putting our stops, and why it would be a bad reason to put the stops there. That's also something we're going to look at when we do our scaling. Originally, my idea of scaling was from my entry point to have 2 additional entries, each 5 ticks apart, but that doesn't always work well. Sometimes we need to allow ourselves a little bit more risk in order for our stop to be placed where we would like it to be. And again, I will show you examples of that today. Excuse me. So pushed up there to this previous swing. We'll see what happens. Just under 2 minutes. So we do have negative we have a downward direction in both 610 and 987, which look like would be negative divergence if we were to push up to the high, the overnight high. So we'll watch for that at the open. We'll watch to see if we can't get a push up here towards overnight high on and still have negative divergence at that time. If we see something like that, I think we're going to try to get a short. Okay. Okay, there's the open. Okay, there's a push here. Okay. We're going to take one short here. And at this point, I am willing to scale in if we were to push towards overnight high here. Okay. See if we can't get some selling to step in, get the buyers down. Not much to do here. So watching these BBs, because if these BBs turn up and we lose our negative divergence towards the high a day, then for sure we're not going to want to scale in, and we might want to tighten our stop. But right now, we do show what would be negative divergence if we were to come to high a day, at least on the 610 and 987. 1597, not as much. But we have to see what actually happens with price and how that ultimately affects the BBs. And I have my fingers on the keyboard ready to close this trade if need be. And as the dynamics change, that could turn into having my fingers on the keyboard ready to add into this trade. But right now it's more the way it is right now, and this can change at any time. The idea would be for me to close this trade if I don't, depending on what we see happen to the BBs. Since there's some sellers coming down there. Buyers are holding pretty good right at 50.75. Right there. Got to see if buyers drop. Got to see if buyers are willing to drop there. Okay, sellers came down with 90 contracts. Buyers absorbing there at 50.74. Okay, big buy just stepped in. And I refer to any single trade of 20 contracts as a big buy. Truth be told, when you're dealing with real size, I mean, sometimes there's thousands of contracts, but that's spread out over many price points. But as one individual block, 20 contracts is a pretty significant one. So buyers are here holding 75 again. Okay, there we go. Well, sellers are starting to push now, as we can see. So we've gotten to 1 tick away from a 10 tick profit target. And you'll notice that I've moved my profit target down. This is actually, again, one of those things that I'm just kind of experimenting with. What happens when we get 10 ticks away? I use that as a break even, or I should say a much better. No, I use that as a break even. So as not to give back any potential profit. Although, see, I would never want to be stopped out there. I would still be looking for a short if we came back up here. So I'm going to place my stop up here. This is a good example of where we got stopped out on a couple of trades last week where I had moved my stop to break even. But the problem with that is if we were to come up here and the BB still showed negative divergence, I wouldn't be looking to get out of a trade. I'm looking to get short in a trade here. So there was our move to a 10 tick profit target. If we had our profit target here, I don't believe we'd be out yet. We would have been touched but not filled, in my opinion. And I will also be at the ready to close out this trade if the reasoning represents itself. Right now, sellers still seem to be willing to come down. We could see a fair amount of volume traded down here. So there's been some absorption down here at 70. Not much trading happening now. Notice that yellow number, that 258. It's going down one tick at a time, very slowly. There we go. Okay, there was a bunch that came off there. There's another nice response by the sellers. This is 50-70 right now is the one. That's we want to see that no more absorbing there. We've gotten below there on the bid. They're right back to offer. That's what we want to see. We want to see us get below here and let this turn into resistance. Right now, the way it has been absorbing, I would have called it support. Right now, we need to start hitting those bids, which we're not doing. Bids have just stepped up. We see some offers came in here at the open of day. We'll see if they're for real, if we get to touch them. Honestly, I'd rather even not see that. I'd like to see the buyers lose steam here and have the sellers make another push through low of day. Here we are. We're at VWAP, middle of the day, right below the opening of the day. Let's see if sellers defend these levels. BBs are still reading in a downtrend. Let's see if this was just sellers taking a breath and getting ready for the next push. Next push down, that is. Let's see here. Just keep an eye on S&P. How much time we have till the open here? Oh, still almost 20 minutes. Okay, so oil's come back closer to our entry price. Buyers have brought this back up here. I'm actually not crazy about how the BBs look right now. So we do have obviously a slope down from this high to where we are now, but we don't really have much of a downward slope from the high of day to where we are now. So this is where we would have been stopped out if we moved our stop to break even, and we'll see if in this case that would have worked out well or not. But in all honesty, if I wasn't in a trade right now, I'd be more likely to want to go short here than to go long. So That is exactly the reasoning as to why the stop has been moved out of the way. We see buyers have stepped up. We see some large bids here at the middle of the day and right beneath there. Buyers are still stepping up there. Oh, nice response by sellers. Remember, we talked about there potentially being a choppy open due to some news coming out at 9:45 and 10 o'clock. So we're not too surprised by the tight range so far. Now, granted, it's only been almost 13 minutes. So we see here's another good example. I don't know where this trade will ultimately go, but it's definitely a good example of where had we left our stop at break even, we would have been stopped at a break even, and now the trade is 9 ticks in our favor. So that was a perfect example. We're up 10 ticks now, so we've gotten through the 10 ticks. We're testing the overnight VPOC, which coincides with yesterday's VPOC. Interestingly enough, no, sorry, yesterday's VPOC. Oh, sorry, wait a minute, I got my profit target. Maybe I could. What the heck is yesterday's VPOC? Oh, wait, whoa. Way down to 50-20. Really? You don't say. So we're going to move this out the way a little bit here. And not that I am necessarily telling you I believe this is where this move is going, but I can always manage my trade with my keyboard, especially since I'm only in one contract. See here, this high volume node followed by these low volume nodes up here. I would really like to see that act as resistance at this point. It took some strength to get through that, and now I'd like to see sellers defend this low volume node, which coincides with the current value area low. It's still very early in the day though to put any weight on a value area low. Now, this again at this point, I'm getting closer to being willing to move my stop to break even due to just a pattern on the chart that I really don't want us to come back up and test this previous swing high. But I'm going to hold off on doing that for now. I still have plenty of time, unless we get like just an immediate spike of 10 ticks. I have some time to do that. We certainly could have gotten our tentative profit target here on the one contract. Like I said, I want to play around with the idea of treating it as a runner and seeing how I handle that in real time. When I review my video tonight, I will also take note of what would have happened if I treated it as a tentative profit target. And as I build up enough data, I'll know which one is the better way to go. Sellers just stepped in there again. I like when I see some large sells as we come through, but I've seen that also act as capitulation, the end of the move. But right now, sellers are definitely coming low offer. They're willing to step down. Let's see if buyers start absorbing here. And buyers absorbing mean trades going off at the bid, but the bid not dropping. Okay, that's absorbing. Buyers, people stepping up and paying the offer, that's not buyers absorbing. That's buyers stepping in and being aggressive. Like we just saw there. BB still pointed down though. Buyer stepped in again right there. Getting back up to that 50-70 high volume node that, like I said, I want to see that act as resistance at this point. Nice push by the sellers now. Now we got to see if the buyers are willing to let it drop. Some pretty active movement right there. We're seeing trades go off now. Sellers continue to step down right here at overnight VPOC, but buyers are absorbing. Let's see if they're willing to drop their low here. So far, no. Nice response there by the sellers. Now, mind you, again, when you hear me talking about that's not to say that okay, it's about to break down. It's just a microscopic, activity that I want to point out. See if you guys can recognize it. There we go. There come sellers. Let's see if buyers are willing to drop now. Sellers, this is probably the third or fourth time they've come low offer. Right at the low of day, buyers have held, or sellers have run out of steam, I should say, at the low of day. Notice there's almost no volume traded down here. Okay, so that just means that sellers are not trading. They're not continuing to sell down at that. But that's different than buyers stepping in and absorbing. That's sellers not selling. We do have, again, we're starting to create a little bit of a high volume node here. So we'll see if we can't build up some steam again to the downside. Now, from the perspective of the next potential trade here, if we do put in a low, if we do have buyers continue, or if sellers continue to run out of steam on the way down here, and we come and retest it again, and we have a nice upwards divergence in the BBs, then we can be looking for a long at retests. On the other hand, right now with the BBs showing negative as they are, pullbacks towards the middle of day VWAP, even all the way up towards the opening range mid and the current VPOC and the open of the day all the way up here, these can all be looked at as potential short opportunities, depending on how we get there and depending on what the BBs have done between now and then. But right there again, we saw sellers step in to hold and make another push down. We're a tick above low of day. Let's see if we don't test low of day again. Let's see if we don't actually do some selling down there. Buyer step right back in. That was a nice little trade there. Another 20 contracts sold. Let's see if we can't get some follow through now. See there, we saw some absorption. Still not a lot of volume down here. There we go. Nice little flush. Now we want to see right there, 5066. I want to see that start holding as resistance. Overnight VPOC turning into a high volume node soon could become VPOC if we trade a few more here. I believe this will become, well, obviously it will become VPOC. We could see the size of this high volume node as compared to this high volume node as compared to VPOC. There we go. So VPOC is shifted down. We're accepting price down here. Let's go back for a second. Let me go take a look at going to bring in a little picture for us. Here was hypo 4, okay? Open, test down to value area high, test overnight high, pull back to VPOC. Let's take a look at how we opened. We did not open and come test. Sorry, one second, guys. Sorry. Let me. Oh, hey, what's going on here? Sorry about that. Give me 1 second. Coming back towards the low here. I'm trying to multitask here. Sorry. There we go. Nice push down. I got my finger on the trigger to close this trade here, but right now we are continuing to move in the, exactly how we would like. Coming right at yesterday's close. And we're doing it with some selling pressure here. We just saw a big trade go off. Some offers just added on above us right there. Let's see if they're real. They stayed when they got tested. Sellers just stepped right back in. I don't know if that's real or not. It's not at the current market. Yeah, it's gone now. Big buy down here, so some people are starting to think this is the end. All right, so we're still just a couple ticks above yesterday's close, which will be considered unchanged day to day. If you ever look and you see on the news, they talk about, okay, oil was up this much or S&P was up this much. That's in relation to the close of the previous day, in this case Friday. So that will be considered unchanged. That is a reference level automatically. And it's overnight low that I'm interested in really seeing if we can't get to, and then how we treat it. Again, I have my finger on the trigger, ready to close this trade if I feel as if that's the right thing to do. So right there, we were trading offer, and the sellers were absorbing. Okay, buyers just stepped up. Once again, sellers absorbing some contracts there. Yeah, still looks like they're willing to come down a bit here. They're absorbing again. Still. Let's see what happens if they start hitting bids. Let's see if the sellers start getting a little more aggressive. How the buyers hold up. Right there, that was some nice trading on the bid right there. Let's come down again. So that bid right there below us, 50.59, that held okay. Buyers are still, sellers are still absorbing. They were taking in contracts right there, right near the low of day. That's a pretty weak sign for oil, but right now they're not hitting bids. We want to see that yellow number go down while we're trading the bid. Right now it seems to be more of that happening as we trade the offer, but the offer's holding. They just added on again. Here's yesterday's close. One tick above, unchanged. Okay, we're right at unchanged now. Let's see if buyers defend this a little bit. So they just stepped up there. Or if sellers continue to absorb any attempt to move price back up and continue to put pressure down here on oil. Now, all right, so we're seeing them trade offers and offers held, and then we just came low again. Now let's see if they continue to get aggressive, if they continue to hit bids and try to push price down further. At what point do the sellers either run out of steam or the buyers step in and show they are willing to absorb and believe the price has come down to a fair price for buyers to re-step in? There goes sellers right there again. Now let's see if those actually trade. Yeah, they are. Still looks good for the short. All right, trading the offer, and the offer's holding right there, and they come down again. Okay, so that's flipped. Let's see. Sellers added on there as we were trading offer. Just come low bid. Sorry, low offer, geez. Low offer again. We're trading offer. Definitely looks like people are trying to get into some positions here. Last time we saw this, sellers were just willing to absorb as we came and traded offer. Looks like they're doing the same thing now. Just had the open in the S&P. I'd like to be watching that, but kind of glued here. Again, sellers adding on. They're getting taken. It stepped up one more time. Sellers are back. Right there again. Sellers absorbed. Sellers absorbed on the offer. Now let's see if we can't get another push down here. BB still read nicely, but that can change. That can change if we start consolidating here. So S&P opened with a push. That might be part of why we just saw a push here in oil. It could also just simply be that's what the market felt like doing. If we can turn back down here in oil, I like where that turn happened. A lower high. Oh, buyers are stepping up right now. Ooh. Immediately pushed back down by the sellers. Okay, sellers are starting to put some pressure back here. Now let's see what happens if we start trading bid. Little stalemate here at this previous swing. Sellers stepped in again. We just saw the ES make a turn down. Come on, let's tick down here in oil. Put some pressure on these buyers now. Nope, they are happy to be stepping in right now. We're gonna close our trade. So 17, 18 ticks, whatever it was. So what's nice about that is that we saw that by moving it away from the 10 tick profit target, we were able to get a better profit on that. So that worked out nicely. At this point, what we're watching for are potential short opportunities on pullbacks towards VWAP middle of day, and let's draw these out and see if there are any that are a little bit more obvious. I'd really like to see them come up closer towards this consolidation here, and even better above here. And we see we just come back to test overnight VPOC and current VPOC. The other thing we can start watching for here, because of the way this has set up, is a pullback towards the close of yesterday, looking for positive divergence on BBs and an attempt to get long. As for the S&P, what we do here, we opened. Came and tested yesterday's VPOC. Yesterday's VPOC held. We then have come down to test this swing. This swing has held. Okay, let's see. So we're going to watch them both now. While that's happening, I'm going to clean up my screenshots. And then I think if I remember today, I will try to figure out why the instructions that I have on how to get a screenshot showing the proper screen is not working. Okay, S&P coming through the high. Oil coming back up to mid. Doesn't look like the BBs have turned enough that it would create positive divergence if we had a pushback down here, but not a good enough setup for my taste. Maybe if I were watching, there might have been something in order flow to say otherwise, but I was not. Oil test, S&P testing the high a day here. No negative divergence there on the S&P. Nice candle setup here. Bearish candle followed by a bullish. I forget the name of this candle, but with a long wick and a strong close, followed by a strong candle. That's actually a nice little candle setup. Not enough for me to want to take a trade on anything there, but let's see how yesterday's VPOC holds up in the S&P, if it's going to act as some resistance here and make a way back down, or if we're going to see a continued push up towards overnight high. And while oil has come to test, didn't even get up to VWAP on the turn back down, we see that we will not have negative divergence on the 987 or 1597. We may have it on the 610, but again, that's something that we would learn better if we make our way towards the low. Okay. So let's just take a look. I want to show you what I was looking at. Here's our hypo open up towards this swing overnight high, looking for an opportunity to get short, ultimately looking for a move down to test yesterday's VPOC. Let's take a look at what today's open was. Open up towards testing this swing high, looked for an opportunity to get short, which we got. We had our profit target actually down here at yesterday's VPOC, but because we only had one contract, we closed it at the point where we thought was a turning point. We have had the opportunity to get back into the trade. We closed it at 61. We were able to get back into a trade at no higher than 64 or 65. So decent close, but no re-entry, and sometimes that's just the way it goes when you're only into the one contract. That's the next that's the next thing we're watching for, is going to be that move. If we continue to push down, let's close this down here a little, get below overnight low, get below the swing, we see there's a pretty big void down to yesterday's VPOC. As for the S&P, let's take a look at how we opened. Let's see, where did we open today? $59.25. When we were doing our homework, we were right around there, yeah. Crude still putting pressure down. Push towards the low here. Positive divergence on the 610, but only on the 610. So we're not looking for any longs down here. The S&P real tight range. See the BBs and the S&P, all the 2584 and the 4181 both have nice upward slopes here as price has been going down from here. Although we still show a nice upward slope there. So would not be surprised to see S&P come through and get through its high a day. Oil, on the other hand, as we are coming to low of day, our BBs are also at low of day for the 987 and 1597. 610 does show some positive divergence, but really that's not enough for me to want to get into a trade. There goes the ES right through the high day. But everything here is happening within a couple of points. This is 59, 61.50, so 10 ticks. There goes oil through low of day there. So again, I have no problem with where I stopped out on my trade. Remember, we had been doing, and we may ultimately do, one contract. If we only get into one contract of our trade, we are taking our 10 tick profit target. In this case, we got almost double that. And certainly could have re-entered this trade. I wasn't watching order flow, but as we pulled up towards overnight VPOC in middle of day, we certainly could have been watching to re-enter this trade short on crude, but I was not. EB still showing negative on crude. Oh. I just realized something. Okay. I realized my pointer was not changed colors. I know it can be hard to kind of tell where the crosshairs are. S&P continuing to test towards the highs. Makes sense. BBs are showing strength off the open. Let's take a look here at oil. So really right now, S&Ps we're looking to buy pullbacks if it allows. Not sure why that turned off. Okay. S&P we're looking to buy pullbacks if they set up for now, and oil we are looking to sell pullbacks if they set up for now. Now, one of the things we could be seeing happening down here, we could see that we're going to trickle our way down to overnight low in this previous swing, and potentially see some setup in the BBs to tell us it's a decent spot to try to go long, but we'd have to see that happen before we just make that assumption. I'm having trouble with this software about making my mouse red, so I'm going to turn that off for now. Sorry if Sorry if it makes it hard for you guys to see. S&P coming back down now. Let me just show you something here in oil that might be happening. We might be starting to build an inverse head and shoulders. We'll keep an eye on that. I don't think that's going to happen by the time I'm done this morning, but we have what potentially could be the beginning of that. Also, they can continue to just go into a downtrend or form a bunch of other patterns, but that's a pattern that I'd be keeping my eye out for. If excuse me, if I were going to be in front of the screen long enough. But oil definitely still seems to have sellers weighing it down. Big sell there in the S&P. Now in the S&P, we use 200 as our large sell indicator. The reason I came up with that number is just when I was putting it on there, I would adjust those numbers and see which ones, at what point I thought there were too many. 20, I think, might even be a little too low for oil, but it's just what I decided to use. I don't want you to think that there's like some magical reason why I use that number. Oil still getting pressure put on it to the downside here, and S&P, S&P, we're actually looking to see if we can't find decent long opportunity. DBs have turned down, but of course so has price. That's not to say that there'd be negative divergence if we made a move back up towards the high. We've come through overnight VPOC. We've come through middle of the day, which I believe is right in here. $610 on oil has definitely shown some positive divergence, but that has not yet been joined by either the 987 or the 1597. Okay, so oil is getting some pressure to the downside here. Very tempted to take a long here in oil, but I want to see some more. I'm not oil, sorry, S&P, sorry. As I said, that oil was tanking. No, watching the S&P here, looking for some order flow cues. Might have just gotten them. There's some seller stuff back in there. Ooh, big offer there on crude. So shit on S&P. I'm so sorry. Fought right off. I'm gonna take one here. And what we saw there was we saw a large offer come into the S&P, and then it was immediately dispatched. So the order flow showed as if we were willing to hold here. Buyers were willing to stand their ground against the sellers. We're at the bottom of the consolidation range, giving us a good opportunity to get long. And depending on how the BBs play out, if we push down further, we will decide if we need to scale into this position or not. Oil, on the other hand, as I was saying, as I accidentally said, I was considering going long oil, but I was not. Came right through the overnight low and immediately has pushed back into right back into the overnight low. So if we come back above it here, this to me would be considered a hold. Okay, but if we slow down here, then I would say, you know, we might be getting some acceptance here, and then looking for an opportunity to continue to go short. So buyers have been holding their ground here on the S&P, but I would have liked to have seen an actual push here, get back up towards the other end of that consolidation. Spending this time down here is certainly not helping our BBs develop the way we would like. Sellers have been absorbing right here. So okay, let's get above now. Let's push. Let's see if we can't lower that size on the offer. Get bids to step up. There we go. So first part's being done, offers being taken, but they just added on. Once again refreshing here. I'm actually really not too excited about that, to tell you the truth. Sellers are coming down with some strength right now. Definite selling pressure towards the bottom end of this consolidation here. Not crazy about what I'm seeing. I think we're about to see a large offer come in and push us down. There we go, offer just added on. I don't want to see it. I certainly want to see the bid. There it is. Still have positive divergence on the 2584 and 4181, not on the 1597 here in the S&P. Should have probably scaled in there. In fact, scaled in. What's our price here? 59. So this would be 56. And we will decide if based on any type of movement, we will decide if there is reason to add into this position or not. So we barely have positive divergence. Barely have positive divergence on the S&P in the 2584. I do still have it on the 4181. Do still have it on the 4181, but now here on crude, we've gotten the bounce. We have gotten the bounce up to 21 EMA. We're looking to see if this will turn into that inverse head and shoulders that we drew. Actually, it looks like that certainly can happen here. S&P Still no real buying has stepped in. Quite the opposite. Looks like sellers are still looking to push this down.
Come on, let her sleep.
Not sure what that's all about. This really small size there. I don't think I've actually ever seen it. That's what that really is indecisiveness. Sellers don't know if they want to step down. Buyers don't know if they want to step up. I mean that is the definition of indecisiveness from the perspective of order flow and supply and demand. All right, so buyers are the one that decided it was time to step in. But now let's see. Now let's see if we can't push back up. See if the low here of the day holds as the end of the range, or if sellers continue to put pressure on. Let's see. All right, oil in the meantime. Come back to 21 EMA. BB still look pretty good in oil on the 987 and the 15. I'm sorry, 987 and 1597. Yeah, those still look pretty good. 610 continues to try to create that positive divergence, but it's just not enough. We've seen consolidation here on the S&P, trading right at yesterday's close. Levels are very thin right now, very thin. I'm surprised that we're not getting more price action considering how thin the bids and the offers are. You know, you would expect it's going to take less trading to move price because these levels are thinner, but that has not been the case. I've actually never seen, since I've been paying attention, I've never seen these levels be so thin. All right, nice little jump up here in the S&P. Closing one. Moving my stop. Let's see if we can't get back up to the other end of this range here. Buyers just stepped in there nicely. They showed some size here on the bid, but now let's see if they get aggressive and start taking these offers. Oil once again coming to test the low. Now we are starting to see some potential divergence on the 987. Not a ton, but there is that flattening out, slight rollover. 610 still showing that positive divergence. So once again, with that push down, no negative divergence on the 987. And that's in oil I'm talking about. S&P, we're just sitting here at this former microcomposite VPOC current value area low. Oil continues to go down. I wonder if we're going to ultimately get to our original profit target of yesterday's VPOC. Tell you the truth, we really have not had opportunity to get back into this short in oil. I really do not like how the BBs are setting up here in the S&P. So I am going to get I'm closing it right here. Okay. I don't like how the BBs are showing such downward skews while we just consolidate. Was not exciting for me. So close that out. That'll be the end of the morning for us. Oil looks like it is continuing to make its way down towards yesterday's VPOC. We'll see if that ultimately plays out. Like I said, from where I closed my trade, obviously, yes, in hindsight, that looks bad, but from where I closed my trade, which I was completely fine with at that time, did not really get great opportunities to get back short. You really would have had to been aggressive on that. So that's it for the morning. As usual, if you guys have any questions or you want to reach out to me, feel free. Other than that, I will see you tomorrow. Okay, have a great day. Bye-bye now.